Yeah. This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
On the show today, you'll learn why you shouldn't take your partner everywhere. There are some places your partner does not belong, as
Well
it turns
said, Nat.
out.
Yes, when you've been waiting your turn and then you missed out on something are some heartbreaking tales.
They are. We're going to catch up with a guy called Ronnie Blakey. He's calling the action at Margaret River, the surfing, that is.
What about a guy called Matt Pavlich?
Great rinse he's got going at the moment. We're loving the silver.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Okay, so last night it was Rita Ora on The Voice that was left to fill her last
Oh,
position.
Yeah,
she had
she
one
needed
spot.
to.
Everyone else's
Yeah.
teams were full.
Yep.
Yeah. And my dad's like so jaded about this whole thing. He goes, the producers are telling him everything. And I said, I think sometimes the producers might whisper in their ear, just wait.
As in before you press your button.
Oh, no
Just
doubt.
wait.
Oh,
No
yeah,
doubt.
I think,
You know what I mean?
well,
A good
even
one's
without
coming.
being told,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
And the amount of time that Rita took before she pressed
Yeah.
the button
Yeah.
on that final girl.
Yeah, that was
It's like that girl was amazing.
Yeah. So
She
her
was.
name's Theone Marks and she's singing a bit of Adele.
Hit that button.
They all spin around.
Jess was sitting on a chair with
Yeah.
her.
They're all sitting on the
all sitting
chair.
on the chair.
Oh, it
It
was
was
a
a great
four-person chair turn, Sean.
That
on the one
girl
chair.
has amazing pipes.
Oh, she's brilliant.
She's almost better than Adele. That's extraordinary.
She got a battle pass right through, so
Yeah, I'm
she
not
misses all the
surprised.
battle rounds and stuff. She's definitely part of Rita's squad. But the thing is, I know someone that's been on The Voice. They didn't make it, but they said that it is such a full-on experience because they get there at the bone crack of dawn, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
4:30, 5 a.m.
Yep.
And they sit there all day
Just
and
waiting.
They wait. And then suddenly, the teams are filling up. And they're filling up and they're filling up. And then you get down to the one last coach and then you're waiting going, oh, my God, I hope this next person isn't good. And then Rita hits a button and then you hear this.
Team Rooster is officially full!
But you're still waiting.
You've been waiting 12 hours. And then you have to go and you're done.
Yeah.
For many, they would have travelled all over the place
Yeah,
to be there.
And this is their big break. Like
This is
this is
their
an
big break.
amazing
Yep.
opportunity. And then it just fizzles out because Theone got up and sang like that.
There is a whole bunch of people out there that
still
went home
waiting.
disappointed. What if the person that was after Theone?
Yeah.
Got their butterflies.
Yes.
Okay, you're after this girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They've
I
got
hope
their
it go
new-
well.
their
I hope it
new
go well.
shoes
I hope it go well.
Maybe go well next year.
Do you know if that happens in MasterChef too? Because we used to see that they're all waiting out in the hallway and
Yes.
they're bringing in all this food. And sooner or later, they're going to have the people that they want.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they all get they get invited or they all get a dip to try. So they did the
Yes.
same auditions at MasterChef and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But they all get at least a chance to showcase, and then they walk around, taste their
Yeah.
food, and then they make a shortlist. But not this. You have to wait your turn. But if your turn doesn't come, that must be devastating. And that's what we want to talk about, right? We want to talk about when you've waited your turn and then you missed out
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Sean, you love waiting, so this would be right up your
Oh,
alley.
right up my alley. Imagine
Yeah.
me waiting for my turn or waiting
Yes.
for something.
And
not
then they go, it's
necessarily
closed
singing,
now,
and then they go,
or
"That's
it's
it."
broken down.
Yeah, or we've run out.
We've run out.
Oh, we've run
Yeah.
out.
We've run out. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
It'd be Fist of Fury. It'd be Tyson Fury.
The
That's
people
what would
that
happen.
still line up for AFL tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
And then they get to the front, the window closes.
Thanks.
Ever felt like a holiday after your holiday?
Plan your getaway now and make up for missed holidays with whatif.com.
Plus, select hotels are fully refundable, so you can book with confidence. Booking cancellation windows apply. What if it's Aussie for travel?
Last night on The Voice, a whole lot of people waiting in the wings.
Yep. Then Theone Marks comes out
Sings like this.
and takes Rita's last spot. The blind auditions are over.
Everybody
but
has
what
to
you
go
don't
home.
realise is there's a whole bunch of people that have been waiting since the bone cracker dawn out the back to sing, and they have to go.
Never got the chance.
So we are talking about when you're waiting your turn and you missed out.
Emily, hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good,
Em,
Em.
what happened?
So in 2019, my partner and I drove across the country to the V8 Supercars in Bathurst.
Yeah?
They do a signing day before the race, so we lined up to get all our signature autographs from all the drivers.
What were you getting autographed? Just like a book or like a helmet or what was it?
We had a shirt and a poster.
Yeah, you did.
Right.
So I brought up hardcore Holden fan.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting in line. I can see Van Gisbergen, Tander, I can see Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup.
Oh,
3 people away from the front of the line.
yeah.
And they swapped the drivers out for the others.
Oh, Emily.
And then came the Ford people.
Exactly. Winterbottom. God damn him.
Oh, were you heartbroken?
I was, yes. When they were like moving away, I was like, throw your shirt at Van Gisbergen. I'm sure he'll sign it.
Emily, how long had you been standing in that queue for, do you reckon?
Oh, it was probably a good hour.
Yeah.
Over an hour,
And when you're that close to the front,
Honey.
and they snatch
And we
you away
thought we
from
were
you.
there early, to be honest.
Yeah.
They could. Well, I mean, you know what? It's very territorial. Their fans over there, so really, they
geez,
should
mate.
know the people that are lining up, waiting to line up
Yep.
to see the Holden people. You think they'd finish the line?
How the world has changed in that sense, you know, when Emily just mentioned Holden. It was Holden and Ford, and that was
Yes.
it. And
Yeah.
everyone had such a hardcore rivalry.
Yeah.
And now there is no Holden.
No.
Really?
Camaro.
How
Yeah.
about that?
Right, that was so
Thanks,
good.
Em. Chelsea, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
Good, Chels.
Chelsea. Okay, what happened?
So it was about 5 years ago, and I had a connecting flight from Sydney to Perth.
Yes.
I let this lady go in front of me because she was having trouble walking, so I was like, you can go in front of me.
Oh, you're lovely.
Good on you.
I got to the front, and they told me that they had overbooked the flight.
Yeah. And said,
I was devastated.
they left you stranded then, Chels. What happened there? What? What did you
What a
do?
stitch up.
So I'd already been flying for about 18 hours.
Yes.
I get there, they tell me it's overbooked. I have to wait another 6 hours
Oh.
or so.
Did
Oh,
they at least let you in the lounge?
Yeah, I was allowed to I got my ticket upgraded and stuff, but
Good,
Oh,
good.
but
I was
still,
done.
you just
Yes.
you just wanted to get the trip over it.
when you want to get
18
home, you just want to get
hours.
home. Oh, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
That's
See,
great.
it doesn't pay to be a good person,
It
does
doesn't
it?
at all.
So
It really
That's
doesn't
what I'm taking away from that.
sometimes.
Never let that
Yeah.
limping person in front of you.
No, right.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We're very patient people.
Sean's not.
You got to be
Sean
careful who
can't
you're
wait for
speaking for
anything.
sometimes.
Sean cannot wait
I'll lose
for
my mind.
anything.
I cannot
Oh,
be
we've just
patient.
been laughing about the
Not the
voice,
street.
about all the people that are waiting behind the blinds, waiting for their turn. Reader's team got full, and then they're all told to go home. It's so funny, and then they're done for the year. That's it. That was the year that they were going to be famous.
Matt's in Mullaloo. Good morning, Matt.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi,
Good,
good, Matty.
Did you wait a long time for something and then have it snatched away?
Yeah, so I had about 6 years ago or so, I had a job interview for my dream job,
Yeah.
and so for the interview, you have to go for quite a few loops. You have to go for a medical interview, a psychological interview, and then you have the actual job interview, and you have to do that all in one day.
Yeah, Matt, what was your dream job?
In the Army, Defence Force sort of thing.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
yeah,
Okay,
sweet.
right, okay.
Well done, Matt.
Yeah.
So so you have to get there about 7:30, and I went for my psychological interview and the actual interview, and I passed all that.
Yeah.
And then I get to the medical interview, but I didn't get to the medical interview until about 4:30. So I was sitting all day from about 7:30 to about 4:30. I was just sitting there doing squats,
Yeah.
and then finally they call me up for the medical interview, and they say, yeah, sorry, we can't pass you, we can't allow you to go through. And they told me at the end of the day when they could have told me that, like.
So wait, they had known for earlier on in the day that you weren't going to be able to go through to the medical round, but they didn't tell you until just before.
Yep, that's correct.
So was it because you weren't going to, you had some problem that meant you couldn't physically pass the medical interview? Or
Yeah, kind of. So it was like cancer sort of thing, but it was all cleared. Like there was
yes,
nothing wrong.
it was just a previous history.
Yep.
Yeah, like it was all clear from doctor. They said there was no problems, such and so on and so forth, and they said no, we can't allow it.
Yeah, I've heard of people waiting all day when they had the opportunity. Oh, you could have told me this
That's-
like
yeah,
hours and hours ago.
100%.
We could have been done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't waste my
Matt.
time.
Matt.
Feel for you. Thanks, mate. Tracy's in Lathlane. Hello.
Hey, how you going?
Good, Trace.
Trace, what did you have to wait for? What happened?
Oh, so a few years ago, I was when I was young, and I worked at Coles in Swanview, and I always go to the lotto place to get my lotto every week, and I buy the same scratchy every week or whatever.
Yeah.
A
couple of people in line waited, and as I went up to the counter, this other little old lady went up to the counter, and I said, "Oh, look, you go first, So she went first, got the same scratchy as what I always got.
Yeah.
Scratched while I was getting my lotto and everything, just scratching away, won $50,000.
Oh,
And I've been waiting all my life to have a win like that, and I still haven't had a win like that.
Tracy.
So, Trace, do you remember back
that
to the
close.
guy who scratched and won, and then
Yes.
the TV camera's going,
Let's reenact it.
reenact it, and he did it
And
again.
he won again,
Remember
yeah.
that one? It was on the news.
But my thing is, we all hear about karma, right? So Tracy's done the right thing.
That's
She's let an
right.
old lady in, and then karma kicks her in the groin. That's not right.
No,
It
that's
is not right, Nathan.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
Well, the world's best surfers have descended on Margaret River, and we've been watching all the pros go head-to-head over the last week or so. We're going to catch up with Ronnie Blakey, and if you're watching 5:07 on Fox Sports and the world's best surfers, he'll be calling all the action. G'day, Ronnie.
Going fantastic, thank you. How are you guys?
Oh, we're great, Ronnie
Aren't you
Blakey.
just living the dream, hey?
Oh, mate, second best job in the world, I say.
Yeah. What's the first best?
Oh, to be out there actually
surfing.
but,
Oh, okay.
maybe not today. The surf's a little bit too big.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because this is one of the jobs that we do where everyone comes up and goes, God, I wish I had your job. Sean wishes he had your job. Don't you, Sean?
Oh, watch Ronnie travel all around the world, Ron. How good is your lifestyle?
Pretty bloody good. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. No, it's I'd say it's probably just a cut above yours.
Now, we've seen what everyone's been up to when they're not on the waves right now, and it seems that every surfer plays golf. Is that right? Do you play golf too?
When it's free, yeah, I like to. No, we did get shown around, and Tourism WA are big supporters of the event over here. So anytime there's a down day, they kind of take us out on the road and show us around the joint. It's fantastic.
So some of the wineries and stuff you've been going, Ron, so your down days are just going out for amazing lunches and trying, good bottles of wine.
It's unbelievable. They're going to have to ring me out when we finish this event. That's it. I'm 90% red wine at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a way to
me
be.
too.
I mean, you really are experiencing everything that the Margaret River region has to offer, aren't you?
Oh, I sure am. But, so the surfers are copping it all too. Today we've got massive swell. It just marches straight in here to Margaret River, and it's, double overhead, triple overhead sometimes, and we're seeing huge wipeouts, and there's actually a lot on the line for the surfers too, because they're cutting the tour numbers after this contest as we move to the back half of the season. And yeah, it's just getting so intense. CT careers are on the line, and also obviously everyone's chasing that world title glory as well.
Everyone, I guess, you're worried about the world title at the end of the day, but for all these people, as you said, their careers get put on hold or cut off for the year after this one event at Margaret River. And I've seen a lot of people, frustration maybe about the scoring, but more so the emotion, crying and stuff after some of the knockouts so far, Ronnie. It's been quite amazing.
There's something really sad about a surfer crying because they've got such an amazing life. It must be a really bad thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is they call it the dream tour, but sometimes it's a nightmare. It's just really hard to maintain a place on this tour, and it's actually really hard to get here. So this year they've introduced a new format. There's a mid-season cut, and what they're really trying to do is sort of set up the back half of the year to allow those top seeds, those form surfers, to fight it out for that world title glory. And, if you're not carrying that form and you're not putting in the great performances, it means that you're back onto the second tier, which is now called the Challenger Series. And then if you can get some success on that, there's a chance you'll be there for stop number one when the tour kicks off again.
So you've got to win your way back onto the tour for next season.
It's actually really interesting, but also, very emotional because it is the realisation and loss of a childhood dream for a lot of the competitors.
Well, the other thing is everyone's getting sponsored, or a number of people are getting sponsored to a high level. They're not making the cut. What does that do for money coming in and all that kind of stuff, Ronnie?
Mate, it's that's the brutal side of it. Generally your contracts are geared around your position on the championship tour. So if you fall off the tour, there's a good chance that your contract is cut in half or just reduced to some point. You've got to really got to earn your place on the CT. You've got to earn that sponsorship, and that's why you're seeing so many surfers break down emotionally after close losses.
Yeah.
On the men's and women's side, can you give us who you think will be taking this out? Obviously, John Flores on the men's side has been amazing, but we've still got Bronte Macaulay as a West Australian performing in the finals too. So give us who you think may take this out.
I think you've nailed it with John Florence. You know, he's the best surfer we've ever seen in the West. He just moves at a whole different pace to everyone else in the draw. On the women's side, as you mentioned, we've got a couple of Australians. Fortunately, they're surfing in the same semi-final, Isabella Nichols and Bronte Macaulay. Bronte, she's the hometown hero. Everyone is just so excited for her to potentially win this event, and if she wants to stay on tour, she has to win it. So that would be a remarkable feat. But yeah, she's definitely the emotional favourite. So yeah, it'll be huge if she can get over the line and claim her first win.
Brilliant, Ronnie. We really appreciate your time, mate. Everybody out there, get on to Fox at the moment, 5:07. You'll see all the surfing action, the finals. You'll see Ronnie and the team there doing a great job, mate. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Sorry for your tough life,
Anytime.
Ronnie.
Yeah, mate, no worries.
Good on you, mate. Cheers, bye.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
I don't know if there's many other premiers in the country that apologise as much as Anastasia Palaszczuk. She always seems to be fronting up and apologising for something that she's done.
Well, at least she apologises. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of people that do the wrong thing and don't apologise or don't own up to it. So credit for that.
On the flip side, people just say to her, maybe don't do the wrong thing.
I mean, there's that.
Okay. There is that, but you know what?
But when a politician's going to do that?
You're right, Natalie. She's in a bit of strife. There was a Olympics meeting that was held on Sunday, and everyone important was there. There was the IOC president, the new AOC president. There was the Brisbane Lord Mayor, head of the 2032 organising committee for the Games. So basically, a full-blown Olympics
It's an official meeting.
I reckon Gillon McLaughlin's going to spearhead that once he leaves the AFL.
That makes good sense.
Yeah. So they're there to discuss the Olympics.
Yes. Put the plans in place.
For some reason, she brought her boyfriend.
It's not the sort of thing you take a +1 to,
No,
is it?
her boyfriend, who was a surgeon, Reza Adib,
Yes.
brought him along as a little sneaky +1 to a meeting, sat him on the table where decisions were being made.
But also, from his point of view, how
Why does he want to
boring.
be
I
there?
know.
That she must have made him come for support for some reason.
But that's just
you wouldn't want to go
bizarre.
back, would you?
I don't know.
But also,
Each
you're not
their
going to
own, each their own.
respect, if you're the head of the IOC,
Yeah.
it's like, what's that do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
What's she
yeah,
brought a
who's that?
boyfriend
Anyway,
for? It's
that's my
weird.
She's fronted the press and she's apologised.
I appreciate that there have been views expressed about this catch-up. I recognise that I have made a mistake and I should not have taken my partner to that meeting. I apologise. It was never intentional to cause any distress to anybody. And like I said, it was an informal catch-up.
By the way, I know that word.
She keeps saying informal catch-up, but it wasn't.
an official
it was a
meeting. And
It's an
did
official meeting.
anybody else bring their partners?
No.
That's a fair indicator that a partner
Nobody
is
else
not a
brings their
+1
partners.
exercise.
I do like the word they always use, which is distress. If this has
Yes.
distressed anyone, like
I'm
I'm hardly distressed, but I get it. But some people do this, Nathan.
A lot of people need to give that apology because so many people, when you know that it is not a thing to bring a partner to, they will do it. I think that there have been girls that have gone on a girls' weekend and one chick has brought her fellow
That
with her.
is an egregious error.
I'm pretty sure, I reckon out there's a boys' poker night somewhere and someone's brought his new missus along.
Yeah, she's
Also-
not just serving the drinks.
Yeah.
Egregious error.
I'm pretty sure that
Great word.
that years ago there was a group of women at a book club reading the vagina monologues and next minute Kevin, Gladys's husband's walked in.
Well, if he's going to go to one, it would be that one.
Is it more? Is it more so men do this and bring their partners along, or?
Oh, I think it goes both ways.
I have to tell you,
I think it goes both ways.
Oh, mate,
years
it's
ago,
an outrageous thing
there
to
was a
happen.
group of us that all hung out, and everyone there knew, plus the girl that was going out with this guy, that we didn't like her boyfriend.
No.
And it was never a partner's thing. It was always just a group of us
Yes.
that knew each other from here and there. No one would bring partners. I don't have one. But we would all just go and hang out. And then she started just bringing him to everything after she found out that none of us liked him.
Yeah.
And it was it was like an elephant in the room, like an elephant that we all hated. And it got to the point where we end up freezing her out.
Happily, she's not with him anymore.
No, she's not with him anymore. But we'd stop inviting her to things, which was a shame because we really loved her.
Yeah.
But
She was great.
If you're a
She still
package
is great.
deal, then I'm going to pass on the back here.
We had a footy trip to Bali one year, and a couple of guys' girlfriends were magically there.
What are the chances?
I know. Oh, God. Anyway,
not
it didn't worry me, but just other people.
Was
You know what I
Megan
mean?
there, was she? She was one of them.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
We're inspired by Anastasia Palaszczuk, the Premier of Queensland at the moment, because she has officially apologised for the fact that she brought her partner along to an official Olympics meeting, which she kept repeatedly calling a catch-up. It wasn't. It wasn't a barbecue.
Yeah.
Nobody else had
All the
partners
big owners were there, Nat.
It was a big wigs meeting.
So she fronted the press.
I should not have taken my partner to this catch-up.
Was
It's
not,
not
a
a
catch-up.
catch-up. It was a meeting.
Now, we want to hear from people like that because so often
Yes.
someone's
Partners
turned up.
don't belong everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's go to Marsh in Morley. Hi, Marsh.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, Marsh. Marsh, I'm sensing this is going to be a good one.
What happened, Marsh?
So back in 2001, I was lucky enough to tour with the under-21 Indigenous cricket team.
Oh, sick.
So, yeah, we were from all over Australia, and one of our guys from Queensland actually had his girlfriend meet us over there.
How did that go down, Marsh?
Well, Sean, you've toured a bit.
Yes.
No inappropriate stuff on the bus after a win.
Yeah.
It went down like a big lead balloon.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because
I
you
see
had
what
a
you're
lady
saying.
on board.
Oh, she actually was catching
Yeah.
the bus and everything. She toured the whole thing with you, not
Yep.
just shadow touring.
Nah, stayed in the hotels
Oh.
and everything.
Wait there, Marsh. So that wasn't a thing that was invited nor allowed, but yet she just did it and then everyone had to adjust to her being there.
Yep.
Oh, surely that's a fine, Sean.
Oh, my God. That is a life ban. That's all
Marsh.
kinds of stuff.
And so did he make any apologies or excuses for why she was there?
Oh, no. No. We were there for about a week. We played a few games prior, and then, just all of a sudden rocked up.
No,
Oh,
sure.
that's too much. I think it's too much for everyone.
Oh,
It's too much for me, and I wasn't even there, and I wouldn't have been there because it's cricket.
She obviously didn't trust him to be on tour on his own.
Agreed
Yeah, but
with
then to
that,
come
No,
along.
I'm not saying it's
I
right.
know you're not, but then to come along and then ruin everybody else's good time.
Yeah, that's egregious.
Oh.
Egregious,
Egregious.
Sean.
It's
Thanks,
egregious.
Marsh. Erin, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Good, Erin.
Now, what happened?
I had a work colleague bring her husband to my wedding. Uninvited.
So you've extended the invitation to just her, no partner, right?
Yeah, so I'd not been working there that long when I gave the invitations, and I said, look, it's only a really small, quiet ceremony. I don't want to be rude, but I just, I don't know your husbands very well. Would you mind if you girls just came?
Yes.
And they were like, no, yeah, no problem, not a problem at all. And then she actually even said to me, like, a couple months before the wedding, so which part of the wedding can I bring my husband to? And I said, oh, I'm really sorry, but and husbands aren't actually invited. We did have this conversation.
Because the numbers.
And then I walk up the aisle and I see him there at the ceremony.
What are you talking about?
She's been told
Yeah.
twice.
I know.
Okay, so he can't, was it at a church? Erin?
No, it was by the beach.
Okay, all righto.
And then so he's there. So did you say anything at all, or it just?
Well, I did. I thought I made like eye contact with the rest of the girls, and they kind of like looked at me like, "Oh my God, she brought her husband."
Yes.
And then I remember in the reception, when it got to the reception, he never actually came to the reception, but he sat in the car park outside the door.
Oh my God!
And I remember saying like, "Oh, why is your husband here?" She was like, "Oh, I didn't realise he wasn't invited," and I was like.
I could not have been clearer.
He sat in the car.
Yeah, and then as soon as the food had finished, someone else told me that he actually came in and grabbed her, and they were the first to leave at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh, this sounds
That's
a bit controlling.
creepy, yeah.
Either she's really codependent on him and needs him within an arm's length away, or he
doesn't like her being
he doesn't
places
like being
where
her.
he's not. Yeah.
Or there's something a bit
Gross.
insidious about that. Or perhaps they just love each
Well,
other.
either
a lot,
way-
don't like being apart.
No,
Sean,
I
you know
can't
that, don't
imagine.
you?
Yeah,
I
well, that's
can't
the way I
imagine
live
that
my
being
life.
It is.
I'm very upset when that was egregious again.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
We are talking about when a partner came along to something where partners should not have been.
God, we've heard some rippers this morning.
Let's go to Rebecca in Perth. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, how you going?
Good, Rebecca.
We're ready to be outraged by your tale.
What happened?
Yeah, so I went on a trip to Bali with my sister for the first overseas trip, and then we got at the airport, and there was another guy to meet us there, and apparently he flew over from England. It was her boyfriend, but she was married.
What? So she invited her bit on the side.
Yeah.
To your girls' trip. And you knew her husband, obviously, quite well.
Yes.
Oh, so then
Rebecca.
you on
yeah,
your...
because we were related.
Oh.
And you were related to the bit on the side or the husband?
No, I was related to her.
She was related to her. Okay, so was it just you two going over for the girls' trip?
The three of us, yeah. So there was three of us. So we were meant to share a room together, and I ended up sharing a room with the other lady.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I didn't know too well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
So-
a very interesting trip because the other lady had a wife.
Rebecca, okay. So
Very interesting.
So I just want to know, when something like that is so full on, it's sometimes hard to address it.
Yes.
Because what's happening in front of you is shocking. Did you say anything to her?
Yeah, I was like, what the F is going on?
Yeah, and her response?
She's like, oh, yeah, that's okay, but just don't repeat anything, leave it over here on holiday. And I was like, so we had our whole holiday with this guy, very young guy, drunk all the time.
How young was he?
Like how much younger than her?
Like probably about 15, 20 years younger.
Oh, she was getting...
I mean...
She was getting plenty.
Yeah, so the nightclubs, I know a few nights I went off with some of the other ladies to the other girly clubs, and that was a nice experience anyway. I remember one night waking up sleeping in the bath because I'd locked myself in the bathroom because she had brought some other people back to the room, and I thought, oh, no.
So you slept in the bath?
You were third wheeling with everybody.
Oh,
Beck.
Rebecca.
Amazing.
Rebecca, you can't trust those women's bloody holidays.
Yeah, no, that's right. You can't. Sure. What happens in Bali stays in Bali.
All right, let's catch up with Luke from Mandurah. Hi, Luke.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Like, when did the partner come along? What happened?
Yeah, so look, many years ago I used to work at a strip club, collar and cuffs. Used to do shows on Friday. Used to do shows on Friday and Saturday night, and obviously the girls would come in, groups of girls for a good night.
Yeah.
And I remember one night a group of girls turned up, and one of the girls had brought her boyfriend along with her.
To a men's strip club.
Does that get awkward for you guys as well? Because you can't stop seeing... You're trying... Yeah.
Oh... Yeah, look, I mean, it was obviously, I felt more awkward for him. Like, he sat there and watched the whole show, and obviously, you drag different girls up on stages, and do your thing with them. And I made a point to get her up every time and get her to rub oil all over me.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Time to catch up with the big Pav, Matthew Pavlich. Of course, you can see him on Channel 9 News doing a fabulous job.
Amazing.
Orange tie last night. Very strong orange tie last night. One of my favourites too.
Yeah,
Good morning, Pav.
Strong neck as well he has.
Yeah, I reckon it was it orange or was it more like a sort of a salmon, Shawnee? Maybe it came across the TV like.
I think it was more of a... I thought it was more of a powerful apricot.
What do you think?
You know what? It was apricot. No, that's a good call, Nathan. Now you've mentioned apricot.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was going to go with sunburnt orange, but no, I think apricot is the right terminology.
Yeah.
Well picked up.
No worries, and only real men can wear apricot,
It's a great
Sean,
point.
as you know.
Do you
I'm on the edge.
wear apricot, Shawnee?
I'm on the edge, Pav.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean was an apricot G-banger, but you know.
Hey.
What?
Feels like a glove. What do you do?
Especially where the finger goes.
Now, Pav, where have you been this morning? Back from hockey training or something? What's going on?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, Lauren used to play hockey, and so we embraced hockey when Harper, our daughter, so she's year 4 now, she's 9 and into kind of her 3rd or 4th year of hockey, or Minky as it's called.
Minky, yes.
Minky.
And so our young guy, Will, our little guy, who's not that little, but our little guy has started his campaign, and Jack in the middle's been playing for a couple of years. So we have, on Wednesday mornings, it is chaos. It's hockey bags, it's shin pads, mouth guards, it's school lunches, all in one hit. And today I was with the year 4s, so I was running around testing out my hockey skills, Shawnee. I copped a couple in the shins as well, so I've got I've got 1 or 2 kids on Saturday in my sights to get them back.
Oh, you got him, mate.
So you're doing hockey training before school on a Wednesday morning?
Yeah.
Good God, that's awful.
Well, I guess
for the parents it is. The kids love it. For the parents.
Swimming families, they're up at half
swimming,
4.
yes, but hockey.
But you know what?
Seems like an after-school activity,
guys.
I agree. Yeah.
It's great to have active kids, but I want to tell you about these magical families where a kid just wants to play his Xbox and not leave the house
or read a book. Don't have to drop them off anywhere. It's amazing.
Hey, Bab, so you said you got it in the shins a couple of times this morning. Sean spends his morning just stretching. He's just been stretching his bum, as you told me.
Yeah, he always stretches, doesn't he? Yeah.
How are you going? How's your body going?
Firstly, thanks for asking. Not many people ask these days, Nathan.
No
so
worries,
I appreciate it's great empathy on your behalf. You do care.
He's
Thank
interested
you.
in your bum.
Well, I know his bum doesn't need to be stretched.
No, look, it's in pretty good nick. I try to keep moving, so I'll go for a couple of runs a week. We've got Lauren's at Pilates and physio, so we've got a little setup downstairs.
That's handy.
I try still to do, one session a week where I'm actually lifting some weights and stay in reasonable shape. So I think I've said to you guys this before. What I realised for a long time, for 17, 20 years of my life, I got to exercise every day, and it was awesome because you got those mental endorphins and the release and all that. And I started feeling a bit crappy and a bit average. So exercising, release those endorphins. I feel so much better after I do it. So it's certainly become a part of the post-retirement life.
So Sean, wait there. So Sean, so how long ago did you retire, Pav? How long? What was that?
Almost 6 years.
6 years, Sean.
Almost 6 full seasons.
So when did the real pain roll in after your retirement?
Oh, exactly on 40, and Pav's on that mark now. I know that. And it was, I tell you what, it was like someone turned a switch on all of a sudden.
Yeah, I feel like Pav's is living in his la-la land and it's coming.
It's coming for you, mate.
I need to get the doctor, the physio, and also your hairdresser because I need to get a rinse through this grey hair that's really starting to develop nowadays.
A bit of
I like your little streaks of grey. I make you look distinguished. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been working on it.
That's another gender gap.
Yeah,
women, not so much.
Yeah, you got the Clooney. You got the Clooney's about.
Yeah, handsome cat. Hey, Mav, I want to ask you about. In the paper today, they're talking up the possibility of having that Tasmanian team come in as the 19th team in the AFL competition.
Just because the Jack Jumpers went so well.
Well, there you go. It's probably the talk of the town. With your insight into the way the competition is going and reach to the big kahunas across the AFL, how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I think it's a real possibility. In fact, I think it's going to happen. It's almost inevitable, Shawnee, that we'll have a team in Tasmania. It may not be next year, but it will be soon enough. The government down there have pledged, I think it's 750 mil or thereabouts to build a new stadium. So, they've got real support from government, from key stakeholders. And I think, after a long campaign from people down in Tasmania and ex-greats of the game, so many great footballers and football people have come from Tasmania. So I think it's inevitable. I don't know exactly the time frame, but I like the idea. I like the fact that we're starting to, continuing to grow the game and include Tasmania. I think Northern Territory is an obvious one as well. What a great team we could have up there as well. I don't know exactly the time frame for that either, but I think it's a good thing. And I think what it does do, and I think I've been an advocate for this for a long time, that less is more. And when I say less is more, less games, or at least just playing everyone once, is the model. And if you get towards 19 or 20 teams, you still get a fair bit of footy. You're playing 18 or 19 games a year. You might play your biggest rival twice, but that's probably enough footy. And then you do open up the door or the avenue for celebrating the women's game more and allowing them more time on the screens when it's sort of wedged in between the seasons at the moment. You potentially allow the opportunity for the under-18 carnival to be highlighted more. We know how big the draft's getting. So more teams, believe it or not, is a good thing, albeit that it does provide the opportunity to play less games.
So you're talking expansion, more expansion teams. What about that notion, they've rolled it around before, of relocating teams? Maybe, Hawthorn's an obvious example because they already play several games in Tasmania. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it makes sense. If you've got one foot in the progressive camp and you're thinking forward, absolutely, yeah. There's 10 teams in Melbourne. That's too many, let's be frank. it's not sustainable in 10, 20, 30, 40 years' time when the AFL's bigger and better again. But I also understand the great traditions of suburban Melbourne football and what that has meant. But
I mean, that didn't say Fitzroy or South Melbourne.
Well, North Melbourne are the ones.
Yes,
North Melbourne got no money.
It's happened before, yeah.
Yeah, I think, Nat, you're bang on here in terms of trying to get one of those teams out.
Yeah.
And North Melbourne and Hawthorn are the obvious ones because of their link to Tasmania. But there will be other teams as well. Suburban footy doesn't exist anymore in the AFL. It still exists in the amateur leagues, and it still exists out in the suburbs, and we need that. Don't get me wrong, that grassroots is really important, but we're talking about the elite level of football and where it's going to be in 20, 30, 40, 50 years' time, and maybe the relocation is the best way to do that.
We should move a team to the Nullarbor. That'll be hilarious.
Tough to grow the grass.
Kalgoorlie, what do you reckon, Nathan?
Yeah.
Teams out there?
Mate, they've got a great golf course up there,
They
Pat.
do.
They
There's
can have a
lawn
good
on the
over.
golf course
I'd get
now,
out there.
which blows
Hey,
my
Reece
mind.
Palmer's playing footy up there, by the way. He used to
Really?
be an old teammate. He's playing at Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, well, who for?
I don't
I
know.
don't just always say railways.
The Royals, the Railways, yeah.
All right.
The Rams.
This Tasmanian team. So because we know, I feel like with the Jack Jumpers in basketball, they're really scraping the name barrel. So can they be the Devils? Can they be the Tigers? Can they
Well, they can't be the Tigers.
They can't be the Tigers. So
there's
there could be
no
the Devils.
There's
no reason they
demons,
can't
but there's
be
no
the Devils.
devils.
So there could be the Devils.
Yeah,
I don't see anything
definitely.
else. I mean,
Do you like that name?
Well, I think the Tasmanian Devils. If it's
Yes.
not, if they're allowed to have that, why wouldn't you? That'd be where you go.
Yeah, we've
and then,
questioned
Has
it.
there ever been a team, the Tassie Devils? Has there ever been a...
I don't know.
Shawnee, can you think of one? I can't
No, I'm
think
getting
of one.
that to Google it.
Yeah.
No, but I do
Google
have the
for it.
word that Reece Palmer's playing for the Kangas.
Oh, Kangas. There you go.
Thanks, Josie
nice.
Caputo.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go.
So, but because well then, if Tassie Devils wasn't taken, then why did the Jack Jumpers? Why were they called Jack Jumpers and not the
It
Devils?
just rolls off the tongue beautifully, doesn't it?
Jack Jumpers. It sounds
Jumpers.
stupid.
Okay,
It
so we got the
doesn't sound
Tassie
right.
State team. Harry's just Googling it
What
now.
are they
It's
called?
called the Devils.
Yeah, so you can an AFL team take a state team's name?
Yep.
Well, I think given the fact the government's chipping in $1 billion, I reckon they could probably do a deal.
I think you're right, Pat. I think you're right.
Wow.
So, I mean-
God, he's smart, isn't he?
Oh, he's onto it. Good on you, Mav. Channel 9 News. You can see the great man.
Love you,
Thanks for your
mate.
time,
Thanks,
buddy.
Pav.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.